Let me show you how to knit a two-coloured dip stitch. This version is used in my aloe sock pattern, which is based on a 4-stitch repeat, which is a 3x1 rib, and it's over 4 rounds. I definitely found it easier to use a small crochet hook, short circular needle or a flox tool when knitting the second part of the dip stitch, so make sure you have something like that to hand. Let's crack on with the first round of the dip stitch, starting with the dip stitch left, which gets shortened to DSL. This simply means that you're going to be working to the left of your live stitch. You will be placing your right needle 2 stitches to the left and 4 stitches, which is 3 rows, down. You can see from the photo where to place your needle. Let me show you what that looks like when you have existing rounds of dip stitches. Again, I am placing my right needle 2 stitches to the left and 4 stitches, 3 rounds, down. This will be nestled between the 2 yarn bee dip stitches of the previous repeat. Once your right needle is placed through the correct hole, take your yarn bee from right up and over yarn A and scoop it from the back to the front of your work through the hole. Leave the yarn bee loop on your right needle, pulling on it a little to match the tension of your other stitches. Next, take yarn A from under yarn B and knit 3 stitches. You are now ready for a dip stitch right, which gets shortened to DSR. This means that you are now working into the stitches on the right. Place your left needle or a crochet hook into that same stitch your dip stitch left was made into. This is now 2 stitches to the right and 5 stitches or 4 rounds down. Take yarn B under yarn A from right to left and place it on the needle or hook. Scoop yarn B from the back to the front of your work and place it on the right needle. Pull on it a little to match the tension of your other stitches. Take yarn A over yarn B and purl 1 stitch. This traps down the yarn B contrast colour and forms a proper dip stitch. That completes the first part of the dip stitch, which is round 1. For every repeat, the stitch count is increased by 2 extra stitches. Let's go through dip stitch left and dip stitch right again. I'm placing my right needle 2 stitches to the left and 4 stitches, 3 rounds down. This will be nestled between the yarn bee dip stitches of the previous row's repeat. Once your right needle is placed through the correct hole, take your yarn bee from the right up and over yarn A and scoop it from the back to the front of your work through the hole. Take yarn A from under yarn B and knit 3 stitches. You are now ready to dip stitch right. Place your left needle or a crochet hook into the same stitch that your dip stitch left was made into. Take yarn B under yarn A from right to left and place it on the hook. Scoop yarn B from the back of the work to the front of your work and place it on your right needle and make sure your tension matches by pulling it a little. Take yarn A over yarn B and purl 1 stitch. Repeat until you have completed your round 1. Yarn B at the end of round 1 will remain where it is at the beginning of the round, ready for when it is required in the next round 1 repeat. Until then, the next 3 rounds are worked in yarn A only. Now we move on to round 2 of the repeat, where we decrease the stitch count again and secure the yarn bee dip stitch loops. Slip the yarn bee stitch, then slip the next yarn A stitch. Insert the left needle into the front loops of these stitches left to right, and with yarn A knit the 2 slipped stitches together. This is a slip slip knit, an SSK, and it secures the dip stitch left loop. Then knit 1 stitch, which is the middle of your rib, 3 knit stitches, and then you're going to do a knit 2 together. So you're knitting together yarn A and yarn B. Then purl 1 stitch to finish off your 4 stitch repeat of round 2. At the end of the round, your stitch count will be back down to your required number of stitches. We will go through the decreases again. slip the yarn B stitch, slip the yarn A stitch, insert the left needle into the front loops of these stitches left to right, and with yarn A, knit the 2 slipped stitches together. That's your dip stitch left secured. Then knit 1 stitch and then knit yarn A and yarn B stitches together, K2 tog, purl 1 stitch to finish off the 4 stitch repeat of round 2, and keep that repeat going until you get to the end of the round. Rounds 3 and 4 are really simple. They are basically knit 3, purl 1 rib in repeat. These are essentially the rest rows that create the fabric for the next dip stitch repeats to be placed over, so they are really essential. At the end of round 4, the dip stitch repeat is complete and can be repeated as many times as you need or are directed to do within my patterns. I created this 2-colour dip stitch technique for my aloe sock, hat and fingerless mitten patterns, and I'll link to them below so you can check them out.